All right, good afternoon, everyone. So, we're going to go ahead and get started in about 4 minutes or so. My name is Angel, and we'll be doing 45 minutes of yoga today. For the beginning of class, there are a few options. Um, I would like the class to start in child's pose. So, you can bring the toes to touch behind you, bring the knees, about that with distance. You can bring them a little closer, you can have them shut if you'd like, and you'll just walk your fingers forward until you're completely settled down on the mat, making sure that the hips are down towards the heels, and the arms can either be actively lifted or just resting down on the mat. Now, if child's pose isn't talking to you in the beginning of class, you can start on your back in just Shavasana. And if you'd like a little bit more active hip opening, if you still like hip opening without doing child's pose, you can bring the soles of the feet together and then knock the knees out wide, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Just bound angle pose on your back. And still bringing the arms alongside the body. Or you can cactus the arms, bringing the elbows about shoulder height and then the fingertips pointing upwards or towards your head. So those are all of your options. But again, if child's pose is where you'd like to start today, that's where I'll be starting today. I hope everyone is doing well. A fun class today. We have about 2 more minutes. And for this class, you won't need any props. We will be doing a bit of balancing today and a little bit of core work. So we'll definitely spend some time warming up through the core and warming up through the legs so that we can be ready for our balance poses. And if you'd like to already get started, you can come to child's pose. So once again, bringing the feet together behind you. The feet either match with distance, a little closer, or just shut if you'd like. If you bring your legs together, that helps to bring some length across the spine. So if you have your knees open and you go into child's pose and you feel your lumbar or your lower spine talking to you, close the knees and then just come to child's pose. This helps to give you some length in the lumbar spine so that you're not aggravating the lumbar spine. And again, if you would like to not start in child's pose, feel free to start in any pose of centering of your choice. You can start seated as well if you'd like, or you can also just start on your back. Again, just in Shavasana, Supta Baddha Konasana, so bringing the soles of the feet together, knocking the knees out wide. You can bring the arms, if you feel your legs talking to you and it's a little bit too active for you, you can bring the arms alongside the legs and just kind of hold the thighs up gently. Those are your options. And we'll just go ahead and get started. So I will be in child's pose. So as you make your way into your pose of centering, take some time to get any final wiggles out. So before going into stillness, see where you need to move your body. So maybe wiggle through the fingers, through the toes, get any aches and movements out of the body, and then start to go towards a place of stillness. So if you are in child's pose, toes together, knees wide, a little shut together, or the knees together, and the arms either actively going straight and with the forearms lifted, or you can rest the forearms on the mat. Whichever pose you choose and whichever pose you are in for centering, start to deepen your breath, but don't change it. Just start to deepen it. And then as you breathe, Start to feel maybe your breath slowing down and start to connect with your body. Once again, just bringing awareness to your breath and bringing awareness to sensations in the body. Now, start to think about releasing tension, whether that be physical tension, mental tension, emotional tension, any sort of tension in the body. Just with a deep breath in with the nose. As you exhale, sigh it out with the intention of releasing tension. And as you start to connect with the breath, as you start to connect with the body, start to bring awareness to different parts of your body and notice how you feel. Notice if you have any aches or any pains. Notice if there are any parts that you have to be a little bit more mindful of. And maybe parts of your body that you have to treat with a little bit more compassion. And now, for the next couple of breaths or so, I invite you to start your three-part yogic breath. So as you breathe in, expand through the belly, expand through the ribs, expand through the chest. And as you exhale, release the breath, releasing through the chest, softening the ribs, softening the belly. And what this breath does is it ensures that you're breathing from the diaphragm. You're breathing from the deepest part of your body. This allows you to release muscles. It also allows you to just connect with the body and the breath in a deeper sense. It also triggers the relaxation response in the body. It's letting you know, oh, everything is okay. I'm breathing nice and deeply. We are calm. Now, for the final minute of centering or so, maybe begin to ask yourself what brought you to the mat today. And maybe start to think about an intention or a dedication for your practice. It doesn't have to be anything complex. Something that I always have in my practice is to breathe. So it doesn't matter what pose I'm in, it doesn't matter if I'm sitting, standing, resting, to just always be mindful of my breath and to always just breathe. And if you did set an intention, use the next couple of breaths or so to take a deep breath in through your nose and to just exhale, sigh out of the mouth to release. We'll do 2 more breaths like that just together. Take an inhale in through your nose. And as you exhale, sigh out of your mouth. Final breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, sigh out of the mouth. And now start to awaken the body. And if you are in child's pose, start to shift yourself up into your hands and knees. If you're on your back, take your time. Eventually roll up onto your hands and knees. We'll all meet on our hands and knees, so if you're seated, make your way there, but maybe take 5 or so breaths to do so. If you're already on your hands and knees, find some movement that feels intuitive or that feels good to you in the body. So sometimes that can be just shifting the hips side to side, it can be rocking back and forth. But find some movement, find some release through the body. And now coming to stillness on our hands and knees, we want our shoulders above our wrists and we want the knees below our hips. We want to be in line and we want to have a straight spine. Now we're going to flow through a couple of cat-cows to begin to warm up the spine. So as you inhale, drop the belly, arch the spine, bring the chest through, and as you exhale, press into the hands and round the spine. So 4 more times, inhaling, dropping the belly, arching the spine, bringing the chest through. And then as you exhale, once again, press into the hands and round the spine. Inhale. Drop the belly, arch the spine, bring the chest through. And then as you exhale, round the spine. Two more. Inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze upwards. And then as you exhale, round the spine. Final time, inhale, drop the belly, arch the spine. And then as you exhale, round the spine. And now, coming to neutral, you're going to extend the right leg back behind you, keeping the ball of the foot grounded. And you're just going to start to shift back and forth on the ball of the foot, starting to warm up through the calf. We'll just be here for a couple of breaths, going with your own breath here. Now, coming to stillness, you can leave the foot planted, or you can start to lift it about hip height. And if you lift it about hip height, notice if your hip starts to lift. And if it does, lower it and bring it about the level of your left hip. So you want both hips level here. Now you can keep the foot lifted and both hands grounded. Or if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can extend the left arm forward. And now, as you take a deep inhale in through your nose, think about extending through the foot and extending through the arm. And then as you exhale, bring the knee and the elbow to touch. Or if your hand is down, just bring the knee in towards the center. We'll do that 2 more times. So as you inhale, extend through the arm, extend through the leg. And as you exhale, round, bringing the elbow and knee to meet, and just bringing the knee in. Inhale, extend the arm, extend the leg, and then as you exhale, round. Now, this time, as you inhale, keep the left hand planted, extend the foot out, and you're going to cross the right foot on the other side of the left foot, and you're going to start to look over the left shoulder, taking a side bend. Now, as you do this side bend, try to expand through the left side of the body, and you should feel the intercostals, which are the muscles between the ribs, expanding as you breathe. We'll be here for 1 more breath in, and 1 more breath out. And then on your next inhale, bring the leg back towards the center, and as you exhale, bring the right knee to meet the left knee, and just shift the hip side to side to release. Now we'll do that on the other side. So we'll extend the left leg out behind you, keeping the ball of the foot grounded, and just start to shift on the ball of the foot back and forth until you feel a bit of an opening in the back of the calf. Now coming to stillness, bring that left leg, you can keep it grounded, or you can start to bring it about hip height. Once again, making sure not to open through the hip, but keep both hips evenly in line with each other. Now you can keep the right hand planted, or for a little bit more of a challenge, you can extend the right arm forward with the palm facing in. Now, as you breathe in, extend through the crown of the head, extend through the fingertips, extend through the feet, and then as you exhale, bring the knee and the elbow to touch below the body. Inhale, extend the arm, extend the leg, and exhale, bring the knee and the elbow to touch. Inhale, extend, and then as you exhale, bring the knee and the elbow to touch. And now planting the right hand, extending the left leg behind you, we're going to plant the left leg on the other side with the right foot, and you're going to start to look over the right shoulder, taking the side bend on the right side. Now once again, as you breathe, try to think about expanding through the intercostals, which are the muscles between the ribs, and expand through the side body. So there should be a sensation of expanding here, and a little bit of compression on the side that you're bending. We'll be here for 1 more breath in, and 1 more breath out. And then on your next inhale, bring the leg back up towards the center. And then as you exhale, plant the left knee alongside the right and just shift the hip side to side to release. From here, we're going to bring the toes to touch behind the body, shift the hips back towards the heels, and then extend our arms forward, coming into child's pose. Now, anytime throughout practice, you can feel free to come into this pose. It's a pose of rest, or any other resting pose that you'd like. But for now, in this child's pose, let's keep our arms extended and the forearms lifted here. We want to make sure that we have active child's pose. Now as you do, try to think about pressing into the hands, pressing evenly into the fingertips, and as you do, there should be kind of a sense of an external rotation. So the triceps kind of drawing downwards and the biceps drawing upwards, that elbow crease pointing upwards and kind of the point of the elbow going downwards. Now this is important because in downward facing dog, there is a bit of an external rotation in the arms, and coming with that sensation in child's pose can help kind of replicate that sensation when you are in downward facing dog. So now lift the hips up just enough to be able to curl the toes under, and just start to lift up and back into downward facing dog. And as you do, just start to pedal through the feet. Find some movement. So pedal through the feet, maybe shift side to side, maybe shift forward into plank to measure out your downward facing dog. But just find some movement. Start to warm up through the hamstrings, through the calves. And now, coming to stillness in your downward facing dog, for a moment just shift forward into plank. So in our plank pose, we want to make sure that our wrists are above our shoulders, and we want to make sure that our wrists are below our shoulders, and that the balls of the feet are below the heels. So you want to make sure that we're in a straight line, the legs are lifted, you feel the core lifted, you're pressing into the hands. Now keeping the hands and the feet exactly where they are, shift your hips up and back to downward facing dog, and just stay there once again. Now, your downward facing dog may feel a little bit longer than normal, but this is the length that it's supposed to be, which might mean that your heels are lifted a little higher than you're used to, but that's totally fine. It's totally fine if your heels never touch the ground. What we want to do, though, is have the intention or the energy of the heels reaching down. Now, on your next inhale, start to walk the hands back in towards the feet, coming into a forward fold at the back of the mat, and just fold here. Now, in your forward fold or your Uttanasana at the back of the mat, you can clasp your elbows and start to sway side to side. You can stay in stillness if you'd like. You can clasp your hands behind your back and open through the shoulders. But find something here that feels good in your own body. For about 2 more breaths. And now, coming to stillness, as you inhale, bring your hands towards your shins, extend the crown of the head forward, come into a flat spine, and then as you exhale, fold. We'll do that 2 more times. So as you inhale, bring your hands towards your shins, extend the crown of the head forward, come into a flat spine, and then as you exhale, fold. Final time, as you inhale, bring your hands towards your shins, extend the crown of the head forward, and then as you exhale, fold. On your next inhale, come up with a flat spine, reaching your arms all the way up, maybe palms touch, and as you exhale, bring your hands towards your heart and alongside the body. We're going to take 5 rounds of half-sun salutations to begin to bring some warmth, not only to the hamstrings, but to the body. So as you inhale, maybe I'll turn and face you. So as you inhale, reach your arms up overhead, maybe palms touch. And then as you exhale, fold, hinging at the hips, reaching yourself all the way down. As you inhale, bring your hands towards your shins, extending the crown of the head forward. And then as you exhale, fold. Now as you inhale, once again, reach your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, bring your hands towards your heart and alongside the body. So that was 1 round. We'll go ahead and do that actually 2 more times. So as you inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and then as you exhale, fold, hinging at the hips, Uttanasana. As you inhale, bring your hands towards your shins, extending the crown of the head forward, and then as you exhale, fold. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, Hastasana, and as you exhale, bring your hands towards your heart and alongside your body, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and then as you exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, bring your hands towards your shins, extend the crown of the head forward, and then as you exhale, fold. Final time, inhale, reach your arms up overhead, maybe palms touch, and then as you exhale, bring your hands towards your heart and alongside the body. Now, as you inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and then as you exhale, fold. Now, bend your knees as much as you need to plant your hands on the mat. Now, we're going to start to walk our hands forward until we make our way into our plank pose once again. Now, once you are in your plank, drop the knees. Now, you may notice the knees are behind my hips here. We don't want to be with the hips above the knees. We want them behind you. Now, pay attention to the arms here. Make sure that the elbow creases are pointing forward. And then we're going to take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, keeping the spine long, start to bend through the elbows, keeping the elbows alongside the body, coming to your chaturanga. Now, as you inhale, press into the palms, coming into your cobra pose, lifting through the chest, keeping the neck neutral. And as you exhale, come back down, shift back into child's pose, lift the hips up, to curl the toes under, and make your way to downward facing dog. Maybe find some pedal through the feet here, pedaling through the feet to release, or find some stillness if you'd like. Alright, now coming to stillness. As you inhale, lift the right leg straight up and back behind you, coming to your three-legged dog, making sure that the weight is evenly on the left and the right hands, and that the left heel is reaching straight down, the right hip is even with the left, and that the toes, the right toes are flexed with the toes pointing down. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and then as you exhale, shift forward into plank, bringing the knee towards your nose. Inhale, shift the right leg straight up and back behind you, and then as you exhale, bring your knee towards your nose, shifting forward into plank. Inhale one more time, with the leg straight up and back, and as you exhale, bring your knee towards your nose, take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, plant the right foot between the hands, coming into a low lunge. Now, we're going to set up for a high crescent lunge here, so you want to make sure that the right knee is above the right ankle. Now, draw the inner thighs in together, and on the inhale, start to shift the torso up, coming into your high crescent lunge. But for a moment, bring your hands towards your hips, so that we make sure we're in the right alignment here. So we want to make sure that this right knee is above the right ankle and that this left leg is active. So try to really press into that left leg as if you're pressing into a back wall so that the left leg is straight behind you. You want that knee kind of in line with the body. Now, bring your hands towards your hips. We want to draw the left hip forward and the right hip back. We want them both kind of in line with each other. Now as you inhale, bring your arms up overhead, and we'll be here in our high crescent lunge. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale, bring your hands towards your heart. Take an inhale in through your nose, and then as you exhale, you're going to plant that back heel in line with the back edge of the mat, so parallel to the mat. We want to come to warrior two. So we want the front heel you want to heel to arch alignment essentially. And you still want to make sure that this right leg, the right knee is above the right ankle. Now for a moment, let's not focus on looking over towards the right. So for a moment, bring your hands towards your hips. So we want this entirety of the legs pointing forward. So notice if the left hip is pointed forward, or notice if the right hip is a little too far back. We also want this right knee to be tracking kind of above the right middle toes, essentially. So once you have that alignment, you can bring your hands here and you can gently encourage your legs to do the external rotation. So bringing your hands towards your thighs and kind of pulling them back. And that's kind of the sensation that you're going for. And make sure that you're evenly pressing into both the right and the left leg. Now, once you have that, extend your arms to either side of the body. Now, keeping the arms exactly where they are, start to turn the head over towards the right, looking over the right middle toes, still making sure that we have this bend on the knee. We'll be here for one more breath in, and one more breath out. Take an inhale in through your nose, and then as you exhale, you're going to cartwheel the hands to frame the right foot, and then you're going to step the right foot back towards a plank. Now, you can keep either the knees lifted or the knees lowered, if you'd like, but we're going to shift forward into our chaturanga. If your knees are lifted, make sure that you're shifting yourself a little bit forward, and then you bend through the elbows. Now, you can stay hovering halfway about elbow distance, or you can go all the way down. Now as you inhale, come into your upward facing dog or cobra, and as you exhale, downward facing dog. Once again, pedal out through the feet to release. Find some movement or find some stillness. All right. On your next inhale, lift the left leg straight up and back behind you, making sure that the foot is flexed. So we want those toes pointed down. We want the weight even in the hands. And we want the hips evenly in line with each other. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, bring the knee in towards the nose, coming towards the plank. Inhale, three-legged dog with the left leg behind you. Exhale, bring your knee towards your nose. Final time, extending the left leg straight up and back. And as you exhale, bring your knee towards your nose. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, plant the left foot between the hands, setting up for a low lunge once again. So we're going to come into our high crescent lunge once again. So make sure that that left knee this time is above the left ankle. Draw the inner thighs in together. And on an inhale, shift the torso up, coming into your high crescent lunge. Now, once again, we want the same alignment as our first high crescent lunge. So bring your hands towards your hips. We want to make sure that the left hip is back and the right hip is forward. Still want that left knee above the left ankle. We want to be actively pressing into both legs here, drawing the inner thighs together. So drawing everything into the center line. Now once you have found that alignment, as you inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Now as you do lift those arms, make sure that the shoulders aren't coming along with them. So drop the shoulders while still actively lifting the arms up overhead. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, bring your hands towards your heart. Take one more breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, you're going to plant that right heel behind you, coming into Warrior Two. I'm going to turn around so that I'm not facing the back, or you're not seeing my back. So we want that left knee above the left ankle. We want a heel to arch alignment. And once again, this might mean that you open a little wider, or you go a little closer if you'd like. But we want to make sure that this alignment is right. And once again, just for a moment, let's not focus on looking towards the left. Let's focus looking straight ahead. We want this entire part below our waistline to be pointed towards the front. So you can gently encourage that action by bringing the hands towards the thighs and kind of externally rotating them. So this is an externally rotated pose. The left leg is externally rotated and the right leg should be pressing down evenly as well. So once you have found that alignment with your body, extend the arms out to either side of the body, making sure to still keep that bend in the left leg. Now you can start to turn the gaze over towards the left hand and start to look over the left middle fingers. And just breathe in your Warrior Two, pressing evenly into both feet here. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the left foot. Take a deep inhale in, and then as you exhale, step the left foot back, coming into your plank. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and either drop the knees or exhale through your chaturanga, bending through the elbows, either hovering halfway or dropping all the way down. As you inhale, shift up into your upward facing dog or cobra, and as you exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll be here for 3 breaths, so you can either stay in downward facing dog or bring the hips down, coming into child's pose. One more breath in either downward facing dog or child's pose. Awesome. So now in your downward facing dog, we're going to lift that right leg straight up and back behind you once again. Now we're going to do that shifting forward once again, but instead of just doing our knee to our nose, so take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale, bring the right knee towards the right elbow or tricep area. Now inhale, reach that right leg straight up and back behind you, and then as you exhale, bring the knee towards your nose. Inhale, extend the right leg straight up and back behind you. And then as you exhale, bring the right knee towards your left elbow. Now inhale, reach the right leg straight up and back behind you. And then as you exhale, bring the right leg between the hands. And then on an inhale, come back up into your high crescent lunge. Once again, take a moment to adjust. You may need to shorten your stance or widen it a little bit more. We want both legs kind of in different lanes. So if you look at me from the front, both of my legs aren't behind each other. It would be very difficult to balance. So you want both of them kind of in their own separate tracks. All right. Now, from here, we're going to bring our hands towards our heart. And then we're going to open up into Warrior Two once again, making sure to have a heel to arch alignment. And you extend your arms to either side of the body. Then we're going to flow through a little bit of movement. So as you inhale, straighten through the arms, straighten through the legs. Reach your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, bend back down. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, straighten through the front leg. And as you exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, straighten through the arms, straighten through the leg. And as you exhale, Warrior Two. This time, as you inhale, just straighten through the front leg. We're going to bring our feet to parallel here. You can bring your hands towards your hips. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, start to shift down, taking a wide leg forward fold, or your Paschimottanasana. Now, I like to pigeon toe my feet, meaning my toes are in and my heels are out. Now, what that does is it gives you a little bit more room in the hips to kind of fold. Rather than folding kind of with your feet parallel, you can pigeon toe just a little bit more, and that gives you a little bit more room in your hips as you fold forward. Now, in your wide leg forward fold, find some gentle movement. So you can just shift the hip side to side. You can plant one hand and reach the other arm up overhead. You can go into a transverse lunge on one side or the other, or Skandasana as it's called. Or if you have kind of an inversion practice, this is a great place to do headstand, forearm stand, or anything else. We'll be here for about 5 breaths. But as you do, try to think about shifting the weight a little bit more towards your toes. And you can use the hands here. So you can walk the hands a little bit back towards your toes. And the crown of the head should be kind of reaching down. And it's fine if the crown of the head never reaches the ground. We just want kind of an energetic intention of that happening. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. Still making sure to really be shifting the weight a little bit forward and actively lifting the quads away from the knees here. And now bring the hands below the shoulders. And as you inhale, come to a flat spine, extending the crown of the head forward. And then as you exhale, fold. 2 more times. Inhale, extend the crown of the head forward. And then as you exhale, fold. Final time, extend the crown of the head forward. And then as you exhale, start to walk the hands over towards the right, coming to a low lunge. Now from here, take an inhale and step the right foot back behind you. And then as you exhale, once again, flow through your chaturanga, or just go straight back to downward facing dog. If you're flowing, inhale through your upward facing dog, and exhale through your downward facing dog. Now we'll do that on the other side. So as you inhale, lift the left leg straight up and back behind you, and we'll flow through that kind of core movement once again. So take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale, bring the left knee towards the left tricep or elbow. Inhale, reach the left leg straight up and back behind you. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose. Inhale, reach the left leg straight up and back behind you. And now bring the left knee towards the right elbow. Final time, extend the left knee or the left leg straight up and back behind you. And as you exhale, just step the left leg between the hands. Once again, setting up for a high crescent lunge. And then on an inhale, make your way up. Once again, just take a couple of breaths to kind of adjust your high crescent lunge here. We'll turn the other way, because I will turn the other way. All right. Now, once you have found your high crescent lunge, once again, bring your hands towards your heart. We're going to plant that right heel down and open up into our Warrior Two. So we want, once again, that heel to arch alignment. We want to make sure that this left knee is above the left ankle. Once again, this bit of external rotation through the legs. Extending arms out towards either side of the body, and it will flow a little bit here. So inhale, straight into the front leg, reach the arms up, and then as you exhale, back down. Warrior two. Inhale, straight into the arms, straight into the leg, and exhale, warrior two. Inhale one more time, and exhale, warrior two. Now this time, as you inhale, just straight into the leg, bring the feet to parallel, bring the hands towards the hips. Take a deep breath in through your nose, puffing the chest kind of up, and as you exhale, we'll fold back down into our Parsvarita Padottanasana, or white leg forward fold. Once again, we want to make sure that the weight is shifting a little bit more towards the toes rather than the heels, so that we're using the parts of our hamstrings and the quads and the calves to really strengthen through the legs. And once again, you can feel free to find some movement here, shifting the hips side to side. Or you can stay in stillness if you'd like. You can clasp your elbows, you can clasp your hands behind your back, opening through the shoulders. But find some movement here that feels good to you. We'll be here for one more breath, just releasing in your wide leg forward fold. So forward folds tend to be restorative in nature. They're a great way of placing our head kind of below our heart and allowing the flow of blood to just kind of go backwards. Now, once again, bringing the hands below the shoulders. As you inhale, press into the hands, extend the crown of the head forward, and then as you exhale, fold. Two more times. Inhale, pressing into the hands, extending the crown of the head forward, and then as you exhale, fold. Final time, pressing into the hands, extending the crown of the head forward, and then as you exhale, you'll walk your hands over to the left to frame the left foot. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, step the left foot back, coming into your plank. Now, you can either shift straight back to downward facing dog, or you can flow here, shifting forward, dropping through the elbows. As you inhale, upward facing dog, and then as you exhale, downward facing dog. We'll be here for one more breath. And now on your next inhale, reach your right leg straight up and back behind you. And then as you exhale, just step it between the hands, setting up for a low lunge. On an inhale, make your way to your high crescent lunge. Now from here, we're going to go into our balance pose, which is warrior three. So we spend a lot of time kind of engaging through the legs and engaging through the core in order to prepare for this pose. So you're going to bring your hands towards your heart. You're going to start to kind of shift the torso forward. So you can kind of see I'm in a bit of a straight line here. So a straight line from the tip of my head down towards the back heel. Now, as you hinge a little bit forward on that right leg, you can start to gently kind of press into that right leg and slowly lift that left leg up. Now, if this is as high as you go, that's totally fine, or the left toes can still stay grounded. Now, if you'd like to go a little higher, you can start to lift that left leg about hip height, pressing deeply and firmly into this right leg. You can keep your arms on your heart, or your hands towards your heart. Now, as you breathe here, try to press into both of your hands to help to find balance. You're going to extend your arms forward or towards the side in a bit of an airplane. And once again, the leg doesn't have to be lifted very high. It can be just here. We'll be here for one more breath in your warrior three. And then slowly hinge yourself back, coming into your high crescent lunge, lifting your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, fold forward, framing the right foot. We're going to step the right foot back to downward facing dog. And from here, you can either stay in downward facing dog, or you can shift forward into your plank, dropping the knees or keeping the knees lifted, taking your chaturanga, inhaling through your upward facing dog, and exhaling back into your downward facing dog. Now we'll do that on the other side. So as you inhale, lift the left leg straight up and back behind you. And as you exhale, just stuck the left leg between the hands. And on an inhale, make your way up to your high crescent lunge. Now once again, want to make sure that you have a good amount of alignment here. You want to make sure that the left hip is drawing back, the right hip forward. Just bring your hands with your heart. To start, we're just going to shift the torso forward once again, making a straight line from the tip of our head towards that back heel. Now you can either stay here, or you can start to hinge a little bit deeper and start to really power through the front leg in order to start to lift the toes up. Now the toes can stay lifted maybe just a couple inches off of the mat, or you can start to lift the right leg about hip height. And you want to make sure you're not opening through the hip here, and I have to grab something to show this because I feel very off balance when I do this. So you want to make sure that both of your hips are in line with each other here, so that you're using the right part of your leg here, or the right part of the left leg here. So you want to make sure that the quad is actively being used. Press evenly and firmly into that left foot. We'll be here for about 2 more breaths. And once again, the left leg can be, or the right leg can be a little bit lower if you'd like. It doesn't have to be lifted very high. Final breath in, and then just make your way back gently into your high crescent lunge. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, bring your hands to frame the left foot. Step the left foot back, coming into downward facing dog. From here, just bring the knees down towards the mat, and come into child's pose to release. We'll be here for about 2 more breaths. Slowing the heart rate back down. Now, lift the hips up as much as you need to curl the toes under. Make your way back into downward facing dog. Just pedal out to the feet. Now we're going to make our way towards seated. But if you'd like to take a final vinyasa here, you can shift forward into plank and flow through, inhaling through your upward facing dog, and exhaling through your downward facing dog. Eventually, we're just going to bring the knees down towards the mat. You're just going to shift the legs out towards one side and extend the legs forward. Now that we've made our way towards our seats, I'm going to turn to face you to make it a little bit easier. So, a bit of our final poses. So we're going to bring the right leg, or the right sole of the foot in towards the left inner thigh. So the way that this looks, it's kind of like if you're doing tree, but kind of seated. We're going to take a forward fold here. So once you have found the right sole of the foot in towards the left thigh, bring the hands alongside the hips, press into those hands to come to a straight spine. Now keeping that length, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, turn slightly over that left leg. Bring the hands down to either side of the foot and just slowly start to walk the fingertips forward. Now, try not to round the spine here. You want to make sure that we have a nice and open chest. So instead of thinking of reaching the crown of the head towards the foot, think of drawing the belly button towards the foot instead. So you want to draw yourself forward rather than rounding. Once you round, you start to lose the engagement of the back of the leg here. Now, in your Janu Sirsasana, which is the pose that we're doing right now, you want to make sure that that left leg is active. So make sure that these left toes are back towards your heads and they're actively being flexed. We'll take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, walk the hands back in. Extend the right leg forward, bring the left leg in. We'll set up on the other side. So once again, bring your hands to either side of the hips. Extend the crown of the head up. Come to a straight spine. And as you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Turn slightly over that leg. And as you exhale, bring your hands to either side of your right leg and just walk the fingertips forward. Once again, we're trying not to round here. We'll show it on the side. So we're trying not to round, trying to keep an open chest here. That might mean that you only fold by 1 degree, and that's totally fine. What we're looking for is the engagement or the opening of the hamstring here. And you can keep a gentle bend in that leg as long as the foot is flexed. So the leg doesn't have to be completely straight for it to be active. So as long as you flex those right toes back towards your head and you have an open chest as you're hinging forward rather than a rounding chest, you're getting all of the benefits of the pose. Wait here for one more breath. And as you exhale, shift yourself back up. I'm going to turn back towards my mat. So extend both legs forward and just wiggle them side to side. Now from here, we're going to use the last of our core strength, which we've cultivated a good amount of core engagement throughout class. So extend the arms forward, and you're just going to start to slowly make your way towards your back, keeping the feet grounded if possible. Maybe you pause with the shoulders lifted in a bit of a hollow body pose. Take one final breath here, and then as you exhale, let the head settle back down onto the mat, and hug your knees into your chest. From here, just find some movement so you can roll side to side. Or you can stay in stillness, but hug the knees into the chest, either grabbing the shins, keeping them close to your body, or opening them slightly. Now, we're going to plant the feet on the mat. You're going to take the right foot, and you're going to cross it below the left foot, below the left knee, excuse me. And you want that right ankle kind of below the left knee. You want that right foot actively flexed. So to start, we're just going to use our right hand to gently push this thigh away. So make sure to grab the fleshy part of the thigh, don't push the knee. So we want to make sure not to put lateral pressure on the knee. So gently push the right knee away. And if this feels good for you and you'd like to go a little bit further, you can start to hug the left leg in, grabbing behind the hamstring. Still making sure that that right foot is flexed to protect the knee here. And once that left leg is lifted, make sure to flex through the left toes as well. Now if this feels good for you as well, and the shoulders are still grounded, you can grab through the through the shin as well. So finding whichever pose feels best for you. We're just going for a gentle hip opener here. And you can use, if you're grabbing behind the hamstring, you can use your right elbow to gently encourage the right leg away as well. We'll be here for one more breath. And then it doesn't matter if your leg is lifted or not. You're going to extend your arms to either side of the body. And we're going to take a supine twist with this figure 4. So take a deep breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, you're just going to drop this right foot over towards the left side of the body. You want to plant that right foot down on the other side of the body, on the left side of the body, keeping the stretch. Now, this is a great place to be. If you'd like a little bit more sensation, you can use this left hand to gently encourage the right leg away. And this should give you a little bit more opening through the right side of the hip, rather than it just being a supine twist. Now, this is still a supine twist, so we want to make sure that our spine is properly aligned here. So make sure that your right shoulder is grounded, your left shoulder is grounded, and you're twisting from your thoracic spine. If you'd like to bring the cervical spine here, you can start to, into the twist, you can start to look over the right shoulder, and just breathe in this twist. Expand through the ribs, expand through the body here. On your next inhale, bring the legs back towards the center. Plant the right leg down towards the mat, and just windshield wiper the leg side to side to release. From here, we're going to bring the left leg below the right knee. We'll do that on this side, so just gently press the left leg away or hug the left knee in. Or hug the right knee in. Still taking that figure 4 stretch. We'll be here for a couple breaths. Awesome. And then we'll take that supine twist again. So start to drop the left foot over towards the right side of the body. And you can either keep the neck neutral looking straight up, or you can start to look over the left shoulder, making sure that both of your shoulders are grounded. You can start to close through the eyes here. Once again, you can use your right hand to gently encourage the left leg away if you'd like a little bit more sensation. So on your next breath in, bring the knees back towards the center. And then you can windshield wiper through the legs, or take any final movements that you'd like to take before making your way into Shavasana, your final resting pose. So extending the legs on the mat, letting the ankles and the feet fall out, splay out to either side of the body, taking up as much space on the mat as you need. And making sure that the arms are alongside the body with the palms facing up. You can put the hands on your belly if you'd like as well, if you'd like to connect with yourself a little bit more. But taking whatever final movements you need before making your way into Shavasana, letting go of the breath, letting go of every bit of tension that you feel in the body, and just kind of noticing how you feel. Now start to bring some gentle movement into the body, wiggling through the fingers, through the toes, circling your wrists and your ankles. Eventually, we're going to hug the knees into your chest, and you're just going to roll over either to the right or the left side. I'm going to roll over to the left side so that my back isn't against the camera. And just come into the fetal position, which is the pose of new beginnings. It's a great pose to think about and to integrate your practice. To kind of think about the differences between the beginning of class and towards the end of class, and to think about your intention. Did I breathe throughout class? I did. Think about ways that you can use this intention not only on the mat, but maybe think about ways that you can take it off of the mat, and ways that it can benefit you. Now keeping the eyes closed, using as little effort as possible, press into the hands, make your way to a seated pose, coming into an easy pose, Sukhasana. So cross-legged position, bring your hands towards your knees. Now on your next inhale, bring your hands towards your heart, and then as you exhale, bow the chin down towards the chest. Bowing to yourself in honor for making your way onto the mat today. Honoring not only your intention, but the time that you spent on the mat today, which was valuable for yourself. Now I will end class today with Namaste, which just means I bow to you. So take a deep breath in through your nose, and then as you exhale, just open up through the eyes. Thank you for sharing class with me. I will hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Once again, my name is Angel. That was 45 minutes of yoga. Feel free to take a look at our schedules. We have many wonderful teachers sharing practices throughout the week. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great week, and I hope you all are doing well.